Alright, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Chupacabra's lair. I'm your host, Larry, and we're back for another Android gaming first look, taking a look at a title that's currently in the midst of a bit of a controversy called Heroes of Warfare. Heroes of Warfare, of course, is being sued right now by Blizzard Entertainment for ripping off the popular first-person shooter MOBA of Overwatch. And they didn't just, take inspiration from Overwatch and got a little bit too samey with some of the way that the characters played. Basically, every character from Overwatch that has been created to date, I think except for maybe Doomfist because he's so new, has been recreated inside of this game. Some of them have been gender swapped, and then after that, they've run them through what I would describe as like a bootleg anime filter and re-released them on the Android platform, which is not a good platform to release like what usually is a fast-paced action game onto something that needs you to kind of slow down the action in order to get like really good precision. And that's really all there is to say about the title. I mean, this is a title that everyone started taking a look at, I think it was like a year ago, right after Overwatch first came out. They saw this appear on Chinese gaming sites. This is a Chinese ripoff. And they showed different screenshots of it when it originally made the rounds, and people have been keeping an eye on it sort of off and on since then. I actually just did the thing that makes, keeping track of it really easy. I just signed up for the newsletter, which I haven't seen but a couple of them until it finally got released, and that version was actually in English. I have since unsubscribed from that newsletter because I don't really want to associate with this company, but I thought it would be worthwhile to take a look at what the gameplay looks like, what all the characters look like, and what the maps look like. And as I'm sure you can probably guess from what's going on in the background with that giant pit in the middle of this arena, in the middle of this cap point, is that this is in fact one of those oceanfront maps where you have mutual capture and you go through two wins, and then, whoever wins twice in a row or twice at all takes the whole bounty. And this is actually a ripoff of that map, and pretty much every one of these is a direct ripoff of maps from Overwatch. They didn't do too much to change the aesthetics, like this one's blue and gray, and it's got kind of like a goldeny tan in the tiles on the ground. But aside from being low poly, like this is a direct ripoff of one of the Overwatch maps. And pretty much all the maps that I experienced, I think 3 or 4, they were all just a ripoff of maps that you would normally see inside of Overwatch. And like I was saying before too, like this is not really a good combination for a faster paced game. Obviously, or maybe you don't, maybe not obviously, the video feed on my phone was a lot smoother than this when I was actually playing the game. It's just that not all games behave well with my software screen recorder that I have on my Android phone. But the part of this game that's really janky is that when you move around, you've only got left, right, front, and back with the left thumbstick that's there on the screen. Everything else is controlled with your right thumb, including the aiming of the gun. And the gun doesn't stop shooting when you're not aiming at a person. It's not very... It was intelligent in the tutorial, but then it got turned off and I couldn't turn it back on. But it'll just keep shooting. So you gotta, like, wait, and then, like, aim at a person, and then hit your thumb on the shoot button so that you don't waste ammo, and run out of ammo when they're shooting at you, and so on and so forth. It's very janky, and basically all these matches, what they tend to turn into, is everyone kind of lines up on their side, and whoever is good at aiming at the other team the quickest tends to win. And it really doesn't seem to matter what, like, grouping of characters you really play in this, because whoever just kind of sneaks up on the other team first, even though it's really slow paced because of the control scheme, tends to win. But the takeaway is just having a fun look at what a Chinese ripoff of Overwatch looks like. And the character designs are interesting, they're not awful. And some of the characters, like the Ana equivalent, the Ana equivalent is actually the character that throws cards. And she can heal people, throw cards. She throws like a sleeping card, and then she does an AoE heal. But a lot of the characters, while they are analogs of most of the characters from Overwatch, including like, you know, Genji's a female ninja with a giant laser sword, and she's primarily melee instead of throwing shurikens all the time. There is some inventiveness to the abilities of these characters, which leads me to believe that this company could probably have just reinvented all of the characters with an anime spin to them, and probably been pretty successful in the Android marketplace. I mean, as an example, like, they have sort of the League of Legends style MOBA, basic MOBA-esque design choice of, when you first start playing the game, you have a few free characters that you can play, but eventually you'll have to, if you want to keep playing those characters, purchase them with in-game currency, of which you do not get very much. Like, it's gonna take you a while to get up enough in-game currency to purchase a character. So they really want you to buy stuff. But to me, it seems like, you know, this game could have been something a lot more original. It's just, there's already a lot of brand awareness and a lot of creativity surrounding Overwatch, so they tried to bank on that instead of just creating their own intellectual property. Which I think can be unfortunate. I mean, I definitely am one of those people that believes that the Android marketplace deserves better games that aren't just trying to take you for what you're worth monetarily. And I just think that's too bad. That said, I mean, it's obviously not okay to rip off, you know, a company just because they're a AAA company. Sure, people will say it's like a victimless crime, yada yada yada, but people worked hard on this, and it's been in development for years. And I don't know, I think it's just, it's taking advantage of consumers who maybe don't know or just don't care with a subpar product. So yeah, I mean, this has been a look at the Heroes of Warfare. Oh yeah, they've even got the play of the game, which, I mean, it looks interesting enough. If you like, instead of wolves being shot by Hanzo, it's just a giant laser beam that turns into an arrow. But yeah, so this has been a look at the Heroes of Warfare, just briefly on the Android platform. It is a ripoff of the game Overwatch. Blizzard's currently suing the developers, whose name I can't really pronounce properly, or at least the name that I looked up. I'm not sure if that's the proper name. And that's all I got for you. If you're curious about more information about this, I'm sure you can look up an article. There's a number of different outlets that have been writing about this. And if you're really curious, you can download it for free. If you find, like, one of the various places where you can download APKs that isn't the official Google Play Store. I really wouldn't recommend it, though, not because it's a ripoff, but because you play on the Chinese servers, and you typically have a latency of around 500 to 800, so it's not really that playable in the long term. That's part of why the audio on this clip is a little bit on the laggy side. So until next time, I've been your host, Larry. This has been a look at Heroes of Warfare. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Bye, everybody!